Hi guys, welcome back. It's me, Karen. So you guys have been asking a lot about my tattoos and I've never done anything like this before. So the format of this video is going to be answer some of your Q&As through Instagram, and then I'm going to go into each tattoo and what it means to me in the order of when I first got my first one to the last one. Chloe Gold asks, what can you compare the pain to? I would compare it to like having maybe like tiny needles kind of scraping the surface of your skin. Oh yeah, you're making a face. It doesn't sound good, huh? But it's not that bad. It's like, but yeah, that is probably the best way I can describe it to you. That's exactly what's happening when you're getting a tattoo. The needle carries ink inside the needle, and as it punctures into your skin, the ink gets transferred into your skin. So that's why it feels like it's scraping your skin. It doesn't go deep. It's not like a deep wound. It's just on the surface of your epidermis. So it's not that bad. And it really depends on which spot of your body you get it on. There are definitely spots that are more sensitive and spots that are really easy to bear with. And this is how you can tell whether or not something is gonna hurt more or hurt less, is if you touch that part of your body, if it's less sensitive, then it's not gonna hurt as much. But if you like touch the inner part of your arm, these areas generally tend to be more sensitive, and that's how you know if the pain is going to be higher or less. Generally, anything on your forearm, like on the outside part of your arm, will not hurt as much, but anything on the inside of your arm, since it's more sensitive, it's going to be a bit more painful. Oh, and here's a common one that people think will hurt a lot, but it's actually one of the least painful tattoo spots, is the back of your neck. And if you touch there, you realize that you touch that spot a lot, so it's actually not that sensitive. Now touch your inner arm and you'll really be able to tell the difference. There's also charts on the internet. You can Google that and it'll let you know like bad spots and which are the better spots. Marina Kojima asks, how much did it cost? Generally, I mean, pricing will vary depending on which tattoo parlor you go to, but generally a piece about a quarter size, not a dime size, a quarter size will roughly start about $60 to $70 up to upwards to $90 depending on which artist you go to. And if you tend to bundle together, like if you get multiple tattoos at once, those generally are cheaper when you do that, just because when tattoo artists set you up, they actually have to use a whole new set of tools. So if you separate them, you'll be paying that initial setup fee basically. So if you get multiples, the price tend to be lower because they get to use the same needle on you and just work on different parts of your body. So this is a really great question. Hannah Lee asks, did your parents approve? If not, how did you ease them into the idea? So my parents did not approve. So I got my first tattoo when I was 21 years old, and it's actually this one right here, my float tattoo. You guys have probably seen that in my photographs and whatnot. I want to say like a lot of Chinese families from Asia have this connotation that tattoos equals being a gangster. And so my parents thought that I turned into a gangster or I turned bad. And I had to explain to them over time that tattoos to me mean something completely different, and it's not that I've turned rebellious. It's a form of self-expression, and that didn't really go through to them until I think I got a little bit older. You know, here's a funny story about my first tattoo actually. So I got this tattoo float because one of my favorite songs, Float On by Modest Mouse, I was actually going through a pretty self-discovery / rough time when I was 21. I wanted to remind myself that everything's gonna be okay, just float on in all situations because everything will pan out and work itself out. After I got this tattoo, I actually went with my best friend cousin, we went together, and then I got a call from my dad right after I already got the tattoo, and he goes, hey, so like my mom and I talked, we really don't want you to get the tattoo. And that's when I was like, I'm sorry dad, but it's already on me. And he was pretty disappointed, but I think maybe months, even like a year of them realizing that it's pretty small and it's quite hidden, they were pretty okay with that. They said that, you know, to them, as long as I'm not like covered in it, they're okay with it. Honestly, now that I'm 26 years old, I think they've kind of given up on the idea that tattoos are bad because, I mean, I'm not a bad kid. I'm still doing fine, so. And I think they've finally come to understand that it is a form of expression, because how can I be a gangster with a heart sign and a happy face? I don't know, I'm just saying. BXEKVA. I don't know how to say your username, sorry, but you asked, how many tattoos do you have? Do you want more? I love your videos, Karen. Thank you. I have 6 tattoos. I got 2 extra ones the past Saturday. It's this one right here and this one right here. I'll go into more details, but yeah, that's the answer. I have 6, and do I want more? Yes, I definitely want more, probably around this general area as of now, but things change, I don't know. Final question I'll answer is from Charlie Woo XX asked, did the tattoo hurt as much as you thought it would? And how good are you at coping with pain in general? I think I'm pretty good with pain. I wanna say it's not that bad, but it's definitely not a great feeling. It's like not that bad and not something that I would want on me constantly happening, but it's kind of like one of those pains that it's a little bit addictive because it doesn't leave a scar or anything like that. It's like a good type of pain, kind of like when you're stretching and it hurts, but you know, a good type of hurt, if that makes sense. How did I cope with it? I think for me, whenever I'm getting a tattoo and it hurts, I just try to think of ice cream or something I really like, and I try to keep my mind off of it. And I also don't watch the person tattoo me, so as they're doing it, I try to look away. And if I have friends accompanying me, it helps a lot if I engage in a conversation with them, so my mind is not set on the pain that's happening here. Another tactic that I do if I don't have a friend around me is I would talk to the tattoo artist and I would ask them questions like, when did you start tattooing? Just so I keep my mind off of the pain that's happening at the moment. All right, so that is it for the questions for now. Now I'm gonna go into each tattoo around when I got it and the meaning behind it. So I just talked about this tattoo. It's still one of my favorite tattoos because I really like the placement of it right here. I actually didn't think I would get it right here. When I first walked in, I told the tattoo artist, it was my first tattoo, right? I told him like, I want a neck tattoo, like I want it right here. And then he was like, at the time I was pretty young, so he was like, are you gonna work in a corporate environment? And I said, you know, I don't know. And he said, well, if that's the case, I wouldn't recommend you putting it on somewhere that's so visible and you can't really cover it up. And I was like, good point. So he just suggested it kind of hug my collarbone right here. And I absolutely love it because it looks really great when I'm wearing off the shoulder tops or even tank tops. I think it's also a spot where if you want to hide it, it's really easy to do so. And a lot of times, I don't even remember I have this until like I see it in photos because I can't see like that. Oh, another thing about a lot of the tattoos I've gotten so far, I like to get it in spots where I can't personally see all the time. Like even right now, the only tattoos I can see are these 2 in front of me. I like that because I think I tend to be the type of person who gets bored and tired of things really easily. I know this is very contradictory because I'm getting a tattoo for life. The second tattoo I got is a moon tattoo on my rib cage right here. God, that was probably the most painful tattoo I've ever gotten because it was on my rib cage. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. You guys know I love Sailor Moon, so it's kind of like a tribute to my childhood and also a reminder to myself that one, moon is in the outer space, so it's a reminder that I am so small in the grand scheme of things, and to remind myself that not to take myself so seriously. And the second reason is because of Sailor Moon. I also got it here because I thought it would look really cute when I wear bikinis, and it's just really subtle. Leo's trying to come in. He said he rang the doorbell. Yeah, that's why I got my moon tattoo. My third tattoo is this one right here. This is a set of Roman numerals. I got that quite recently, like about last year. People might think it's really stupid to get your significant other's birthday etched on you, but personally, that's a decision that we decided to make because that's how committed we are to each other. I feel like that means more to me than like having a wedding ring on my hand, honestly, because like this is something that you can't get rid of. That's like the commitment level that Leo and I are at with each other. And I also really like the way it looks, so that's why I decided to get in Roman numerals. It says 23/7/90. That's the year he's born in and I'm born in too. That one's pretty straightforward. The fourth one I got is this cross tattoo. I got it pretty recently too. I want to say New Year's. Oh no, I got it January 1st. 2016. I've been meaning to get a cross tattoo for a really long time. I do believe in spirituality. I do attribute a lot of my decision making on, and I do believe that there is a higher being that kind of watches over us, and I do believe that we're not here randomly, is what I believe in, and I don't want to ever forget that. It's a little bit hard for me to articulate, but that's why I have this tattoo. It's just a reminder. Number 5, oh yeah, this one right here. Oh my god, I have 7 tattoos, not 6. tattoos. I just realized that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. And I actually got it with my friend Nicole a couple months back. It's my first colored tattoo, and I've always loved smiley faces. I like being happy, and I always want to remind myself that no matter how tough the situation, float, there's always a light to the tunnel. And what I'm trying to say is, even through bad, it's really your perspective and how you choose to view a situation and how you choose to act and respond to the situation. Personally, I want to always remind myself that, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to have these emotions, but ultimately, what's most important is happiness and to have that type of mindset when things don't always go right. I actually wrote a tweet. This is the reason why I tweeted this. It was because we were trying to get into Coachella and we ended up being stuck in a car for 11 hours trying to get in. It was just not a really good experience. So I could look at this tattoo and remind myself that don't internalize external negativity. We have complete control over our reactions and how we want to feel. It's just a reminder of that, just be happy. It's okay. Everything is gonna be okay. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I am but a speck in this timeline. Why not push away that negativity and always try to be positive? Because, you only get to live once. Why be negative? Just be happy. Now, the last 2 tattoos I actually got last Saturday, and it was like a birthday gift to myself. It's this one right here, this love tattoo, and this one that says Spark. So I'm gonna start with Spark because this was the first one that I wanted to do, and I've been wanting to get something like this for quite a while. This is from my favorite quote by Robin Williams. I loved that guy growing up. He was such a hilarious dude and always put a smile to my face. Random fact, he was also an ENFP, and that's what I am with Myers-Briggs test. So maybe that's why it resonated with me so much, because our thought process were probably quite similar. Quote from Robin Williams is, "You're only given a little spark of madness. You mustn't lose it." That quote really, really digs deep into my heart. I think growing up, I always felt like I was different. There's so many instances in my life. One, I moved every single year. I've never stayed in a school for more than 2 years until college. Then I was forced to stay 4 years. So I always felt like the new kid. I was always different than everybody else. The second reason why I always felt different was I was an immigrant from Hong Kong and I didn't know any English. So there was a period of my life where I was bullied because my English was really bad. All of these life experiences growing up made me want to always conform and be just like everybody else and forget my heritage and where I came from. Growing up, I really wanted to shed that away. I'm not fobby as a kid. When I was in high school, I think that's when things started to change for me. Fashion really defined who I was, and it made me feel more accepted, because whenever I pieced together an outfit and I went to school, people would compliment me and say "Oh, that's so cute, I like your outfit." And I really identified with that because outfits were my personal expression. All of my clothes back when I was growing up were from Hong Kong, because my grandma and my aunties from Hong Kong would ship them over or bring them over to America because my family was pretty poor and we couldn't afford to buy us clothes. So they always looked really different. And people would ask me "Oh, where'd you get those shoes?" or "Where'd you get that jacket?" And I'm like, "Oh, I got it from Hong Kong." And I actually grew proud of that, my differences. I think that's when it really resonated with me that, it's okay to be different because you've only been given a spark of madness, this craziness, and you can't lose it because that's what makes you you. Now that I'm adult, I'm like, yeah, it's okay if I'm weird. It's okay if I don't dress like everybody else or if I don't look like everybody else, because that's what makes me me and that's what makes me happy. So it's like a reminder to myself that keep that spark on. That's a really long story behind why I have this tattoo. I love it. It just looks really cool, I think. Okay, so the final one is this heart one. And this is actually more of a fun tattoo. It's not as heavy with a meaning. I mean, it says love. It's pretty straightforward. This is actually by one of my favorite tattoo artists. Her name is Kim Michi, and she's a Korean tattoo artist. Her name is really funny because Leo actually told me this. When you say Kim Michi, it sounds like kimchi, right? It's a kind of a play on words. But Michi also, in her dialect in Korea, it means crazy. I really resonate with that because I feel like it's okay to be a little bit crazy. It's okay to be be a little bit weird because that's what makes you you. I really respect her work. I really like the philosophy behind her art, which is why I kind of want to put something of hers on me. It's kind of unconventional. It looks like a face that's kind of winking at you, but if you look closely, it spells out the word L-O-V-E. That is the story behind each of my tattoos. Or one of the questions you guys asked on Instagram is whether or not I'm going to be getting more tattoos. Yes, and I know I want it concentrated around this area. I think I want something that resembles the three of us, meaning my three siblings. Although they're really cute, they just seem kind of out of place on its own. So I definitely want this to look more cohesive. There are other tattoo artists that I've been looking at, and I'll share them with you guys. I really love their style. One of them is Sean from Texas. His tattoos are really strange, okay? They're definitely more cutesy and more graphic line, kind of like stuff like this. Definitely check it out. His Instagram is just Sean from Texas. I'll keep you guys updated if I do get a tattoo. I'll probably mention it in a favorites video or something. But yeah, that's it for my tattoo story. I hope you guys liked this and kind of got to get to know me just a little bit more. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Oh, sorry, excuse me, I burped.